What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the CNM podcast. Actually, CNM podcast solo this time, but we're joined with Jamie Negley, Captain Stubing. He was on episode 7 of the CNM podcast, and he'll be joining us back soon. I think it was 7, maybe 8, whatever.
Hey, guys.
Well, welcome back, and we are here to talk about none other than No Man's Sky. Y'all heard us talk about it on the podcast, and our predictions, our hopes and dreams, and maybe what would be the letdowns of the game as it came out. And there's been a lot that's changed. It's now, what's today? Thursday? So it's only been out for 2 days. We've put in a pretty good amount of time, and we want to cover kind of all the bases of No Man's Sky from our perspective, what we enjoyed. This is kind of just a real talk. You may go to some of these other sites, and it's the quick... what would you say, Jamie? Just like the top 5, or hey, here's some cool things, or hey, it's not, everything's the same.
Right, I've seen a lot of tips and a lot of justifications and a lot of different interpretations of what this game is.
And I think that I haven't read too much. I'm just going to give you my perspective, a pure organic perspective. I didn't read a lot before. I haven't read a lot now. I'm not looking out there for information, so I'm not going to be filling you all with information that's already out there. This is a personal perspective from beginning to about 24 hours in. I feel like I've played a lot. I'd stay up at night till like 5 a.m. playing and realize the sun's coming up. I need to go to sleep. I cannot keep mining this emerald. So let's start kind of from the beginning. So you start the game, and remind me again, you basically just start at is it at a crashed ship or at a ship without fuel?
Yeah, a ship that needs to be repaired.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so that's basically the tutorial of the game. But that feeling of like right when you arrive, and I wish I could replicate it right again on my PS4. It's literally been I feel like it's been forever since I started this game. But it's the feeling of starting this game and you're alone on this planet. You're not sure. And everyone's dropped into a new planet, a different planet.
It's a pretty spectacular intro. I mean,
yeah.
That is that premise. The entire premise of the game is the first thing you experience when you first start out. It's I'm on a planet. No one else has been to it. It's ugly or gorgeous or harsh and there's weird creatures and there's weird plants. I mean, it's what one would expect from a space exploration kind of game.
So I think my first planet was actually pretty serene, nice, almost trailer-esque. But I've heard some different stories about some hardcore planets that people start off on. I think mine had some freezing conditions, but I thought that was normal. Went through it, kind of confused but excited at the beginning, like, all right, how does this work? I took the Minecraft approach, like, all right, I'm gonna need to start mining. I'm gonna need to start getting resources and like get stuff going. But I was also real timid, like I don't want to get too far from my ship. Oh, I have a jetpack. Okay, so you start figuring out all this stuff. They don't just slap you with a tutorial that says, here, walk through this 20-minute, aggravatingly long tutorial that shows you how to walk and this and that. They really just drop you in. And I love that because it really adds to the feeling of exploration and like I'm going to jump to it right away, pale blue dot theory. I love that. I love that idea, and I love that feeling, and it replicates that right away.
Yeah, the comparison to Minecraft has been and will be and continue to be made a lot. I mean,
even though it's almost nothing like it.
Right. Very different. Very similar at the same time.
Similar only in that you get materials and you craft. You can't dig down into the earth. You can't build stuff.
Yes, you can.
You
can dig down into the earth.
Yes, but only through like certain, like if you find an emerald stack and you dig down into it and it goes really deep. Does it even go anywhere?
No. You can excavate the ground.
Hold on. I got dogs barking. Give me 2 seconds.
Okay. I left a little message for you.
I can't check Skype
for
right
when
now.
You edit this.
Okay. Okay, awesome. Okay, so What were we talking about? You can dig down in the earth. See, I love
dig
this. I didn't
down
even
into
know
the
this.
earth. You can use grenades to do it.
Okay, first off, I know this is jumping. How do you use grenades? I know I have them. I can't even. How do you click?
L1.
I didn't have them
But
for so long that I
you have
finally
to have
got
it
them.
installed in the multi-tool.
Yeah, I know I installed it, but then grenades never showed up. It was still 0.
You have to charge it
Okay.
with
So,
plutonium.
but I love this. I love finding these things out. Even this screenshot showing right now, I have not seen that thing, and I was freaking out earlier about this walker. I was talking to Jamie, like, where did those come from? What is this? I haven't seen this yet. So, okay.
Yeah, I got killed by one.
Really? Okay, so I don't. These are things. I love running into stuff that I haven't seen yet, and this is why I don't like the spoilers or the trailers that show too much. So I kept myself out of the loop for this one. So we were talking about digging down in. So, wait, explain
So
specifically
you
how this
can
works.
excavate the ground.
Like
you can.
any ground you land on, you can excavate that.
Yes,
Holy
you can
crap.
dig it into it with, as far as I know, just grenades. It could be certain types of weapons. I don't know if
Wow.
you can upgrade your mining laser to be able to do it. But the most useful thing about it is if you need to recharge your kind of like if you're getting a lot of toxic damage or cold damage, you can excavate a
it'll get you
deep enough
warm.
hole to get protection.
I love that. I accidentally found that out by falling into caves or going into a cave, and it would be like thermal level resume to normal. And I'm like, oh, okay, well that makes sense. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
I don't know if they say that, but and then but that soothing voice and God, the music. I'm gonna have a whole segment on that or section with talking about that with you because the music is incredible. It just sets the tone so well. Feels like this analog warmth and beautiful piano. It's sad, it's intense, it's eerie. Then the surrounding the music, spatial like surrounding atmospheric sounds.
Right.
Oh man. Okay, so you can dig into the earth. That's freaking cool. Okay, so you start the game, you repair your ship, which took me a little while, like finding the right resources, knowing that how quick your inventory filled up. Oh my gosh, that was kind of a difficult thing to manage at first.
It's surprising how easy it is to get inventory slots. I thought that was going to be a much more difficult process, but I've stopped adding inventory slots just because I'll add them whenever I run across the, inventory upgrade drop pod or in the space stations.
So this is one of the things, what Jamie's describing is one of the things just randomly you can run across on a planet. They're one of, I guess, like 8 or 9 different question marks that show up. As far as what I've tracked down, I think that's the kind of variety. So one of these things is a suit upgrade for your exosuit. So you start with, I think, 10 slots, and
I can't remember.
4 or 5 are already taken up by your suit. So you've only got 6 slots to take up in your inventory to pick up stuff. So by the time you've picked up iron and carbon, because it's everywhere, and you accidentally mine that for the first 10 minutes thinking it's important, it's everywhere. so you find your other less common stuff, and then your rares, and then your exotics, and your super rare stuff. Those aren't quite the right terms, but you start running into different colored stuff, and you're just not sure what is used, like later game versus early game. So I was holding on to everything, getting full. Eventually, I just started selling it and looking at these formulas and going after each thing. But yeah, finding that first backpack upgrade was crucial. I was like, oh my gosh. And I thought they were so rare. I've now farmed about 8 or 9 of them.
Right.
So I've got like 18, 19, 20 slots, something like that. Oh my God, it changes the game. I'm gonna relate this to Fallout. When you have that weight capacity, it sucks. It sucks. I mean, it's part of the game. You learn to deal with it. It's inventory management. That's what they, simulation. Yeah. But
for a long time, I had more inventory in my exosuit than I did in my ship. And, even including the stacks, the ship can stack materials up to 500 and the suit can only stack them up to 250. And I still had way more slots and space in my suit than I did in my ship. Until I finally swapped out and got a legitimate ship.
Okay, so let's talk about Let's kind of structure this for the listeners, so because this game is so all over the place and deep. But so there's three main parts of your inventory basically, and what we've talked about is the basic inventory of the exosuit. Now you can build out this suit that you're wearing, and you wear it all the time. You can't, like, as far as I know, find another suit. This is your suit, and you can modify it. You can take the modifications away. You can add them. You find recipes throughout the land. Different moons and planets and aliens and stuff, and you can kind of advance that. And so I started upgrading that a little bit. Jetpack, that's really cool. The health stuff. So the exosuit is really... am I jumping too far ahead here? Should we talk about the hyperdrive or piloting the ship or getting your ship repaired? I don't even know where to begin. There's so much.
Yeah, we should talk about the game. We should talk about what is fun in the game.
All right, let's start there. That's a good basic.
Yeah.
What are you enjoying in the game?
What I enjoy about the game is the little bit of progress that I've made. Mining and collecting money to, get the next big ship and to upgrade specific little pieces of equipment. All of the mining that it takes to get just that one mining laser upgrade that lets you mine just a little bit faster, and that makes it cool down a little bit quicker.
Mm-hmm. Those are cool.
It's a little bit tedious. Yeah. When I finally get the upgrade, it's wonderful. But the thing that I've enjoyed about this game the most, and I'm gonna have to say it hasn't been a lot, is jumping to a new place, checking out their, trade hub, and seeing if there's any of these markers, atlas markers, these kind of progress points, kind of a quest line, not really a quest line because you really don't know what's happening. You're just kind of finding these big kind of space odyssey monoliths in the galaxies, and learning languages from them and getting materials from them, and very vague kind of almost poetry telling you how you feel and what's going on. That's what I've enjoyed the most about the game.
As you were saying that, I think that it would be good to inform people that there's two objectives in the game. There's the one that they originally started with was, the game is you enter this big expansive universe. There's all these planets for you to discover. Most likely, and almost for sure, you'll never run into anyone, or it's not really meant to be that. It's meant to be kind of a single player online adventure of people uploading and having their own adventures and stories and seeing crazy stuff. And there's an objective: get to the center. And so what's at the center? That's the mystery of the game. What's at the center? Then they added this other thing that you've been talking about, Atlas. And so Atlas is where I'm choosing that line too. So you're going down the Atlas line?
Mm-hmm.
Same. So that's really cool. And there was 3 lanes, I guess you could call it. There's get to the center, go to Atlas, and then free exploration. You can do whatever you want. And so most of the time you're doing that anyway. And sometimes I've even accidentally backtracked, or I kind of got turned around in the star system and went in a different direction, or chose some random star. But yeah, that's the most fun for me in this game. If I was, God, it's tough. It's a tie between the feeling, the feeling, almost like I didn't have to even try to role play this one at all. It just naturally, I just felt like I was really, because it took me a long time to get to a space station. I felt like I was really alone. And I didn't see a ship for a long time, and I was mining, and there was just animals, and I really felt like there wasn't a lot of interactivity with anything. And I finally ran across my first few aliens, and I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. And that feeling of discovery, and the music really, really accompanied that. Of course, the atmosphere did too. When you walk even a few minutes away from your ship, you really feel vulnerable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, something comes and attacks you. I mean, that was kind of freaking me out. There's a picture right now showing of those flying things.
Yeah,
I've been to a planet with those. They weren't attacking me, but those kind of freaked me out. Just the different animals, the different planets, and I've heard from other people saying, oh, it's similar. I've been to a few and they all look the same. I cannot even describe how different each of ones I've been to. Yes, there are some similar qualities between some I've landed on, but and I can look it up, but I don't think I need to, 20 to 25 planets I've been to or plus, because sometimes I'll jump to one real quick and then leave. Other ones I'll spend 20 minutes, 30 minutes on getting all these waypoints and really enjoying whatever atmosphere it's been created through this math, right? And so that has been the most fun so far. Of course, the mining is really, really addicting. That's really fun. Getting your exosuit, your multi-tool upgraded, like you were saying, doing the mining, that's cool. But I really just enjoy exploring. I haven't even done the underwater stuff. I'm excited to do that. I finally got the upgrade on the suit to where you can go underwater for a longer distance of time or longer period of time. Have you upgraded that yet?
I have the upgrade option, but I haven't done it yet just because the only things I've seen underwater are artifacts and obelisks, and I just, I can't, I don't focus on those at all or as much. I can imagine wanting to seek out the language and try and fill out the language of the species.
That's fun.
But I've been focusing on getting rich and upgrading.
I did your get rich scheme for a little bit with the Emerald. I enjoyed that. Yeah. I found somewhere that paid 105% over economy price or something, and that was awesome. So I was selling for 100, 200 grand for the Emerald, more than that. Have you run into, hold on, well, I'll get to this anecdote in a second. So no, this is probably a good time. Have you run into like exotic stuff yet?
No.
Exotic animals and exotic plants?
No. Mm-hmm.
Purple. They're categorized as purple. The purple material and purple. I don't think there's any purple coloring on the animal itself or in the description, but it says exotic. And I went to this planet after going to a few that, of course, were beautiful, lush, really pretty. Had oceans, had trees. Nice fauna is what I think they call it. Fauna or flora.
Flora is plants. Fauna is animals.
So they would have a mix of both, a lot of these, and then water and land and hills, and there'd be the obelisks of materials, and it was really pretty. And then all of a sudden, I went to like my 5th, 6th planet in, and I swear it felt like I had been dropped into like Doom or Hell. I landed there, and the robots, what are they called? Sentinels.
Mm-hmm.
Super aggressive, super angry. The advanced types, I mean, I only had to exit my ship and barely touch a carbon or an iron, and they freaked out. And then simultaneously to that, there were these little spider things and little spider creatures that looked, I can't really describe them, but they looked like the size of dogs, but they were creepy little spiders that ran real fast, like crab spiders. And I killed a few of those, but they said exotic on it. And apparently I learned later that maybe if they weren't aggressive, you could feed them, and they may poop out material for you. This is through hearsay, so I haven't checked. Like I said, I do not check online sources.
I fed a creature. I don't think it was exotic, but I fed a creature, and it just had a smiley face and walked around in circles.
Same. I have not gotten any poop material. But okay, so I land on this planet. That thing was exotic, and I kind of was like, oh, interesting. Didn't see it again. About 5 hours later, 10 hours later of playing, I land on a planet, just minding my own business, mining around, found this little plant, and was like, oh, that looks interesting and new, but a lot of the stuff does, so I didn't pay too much attention to it. Hover over it, murine.
Ooh.
Purple.
Did it show up on the scanner as a purple thing?
Oh, God, what did it show up as? I can't verify what it showed up as because I can't remember. And I'll tell you a story of another one that I found. This is so crazy because I played 20 hours and I've run into a material I've never seen. That's what I love. This is so cool. It feels so deep, and I don't want to learn anything besides what I find. So maybe through you, Jamie. And so I get this murine, but as soon as I start collecting it, alerts, sirens, they all come after me. So I would grab one, grab two, kill the drones. Luckily, it didn't escalate too much, so I was able to get some, but I couldn't find more. And eventually, George was coming over. I wanted to show him another planet, and I was like, dude, I just found this rare resource, but okay, I want to show you some stuff. So I left the planet, and I haven't gone back. But Rare resource. It says even in there like exotic, super rare resource or something.
Right.
I only got 10 of them, even though I mined like 6 or 7 plants.
Go get a lot more. Do they stack?
Yeah, they
Ooh.
stack. They stack. They're a material, but it's I don't even know what it's used for. I don't have any blueprints that use it, so I'm holding on to it.
I've just started to get some blueprints that use purples.
Oh man, it's crazy. And then you see from all the vendors a lot of different stuff you've never seen. But anyway, second story of finding something cool on a planet, because I feel like this is the best part of the game, is discovering stuff on planets. There was these little eggs all over this planet. I was like, what are these? And I did the scanner. It would show up as a green exclamation point. And I was like, what is this? And I would go over, and of course I would shoot it, and it would quickly mine. Maybe my gun's upgraded, but it would quickly mine, and immediately sirens again. But this was way more intense. This was like way more intense than the Murine. Like I had to grab it, get in my ship, and fly to a new location, land. But they were everywhere. They weren't rare. They were covering this planet. I go back to the freaking trader, like 60, 70 grand a piece.
Jeez.
So I had 6 of them on me. I sold them for like 260, 270. He was below economy price or something. I don't know what that equates to, but it was like 40, 50 grand a piece. It was pretty cool. So I could have just kept mining that, but they didn't stack.
Yeah, those rare, the really one-off kind of, those don't stack. You ought to keep those in your suit inventory so that the stackable things can go in the ship, because the ship can stack them at bigger pieces.
But can you mine and it go to your ship if you have a stack going in your ship? I don't think it can. You have to have a stack like ready to go in your suit.
Right.
And so after you want to tell me like I want to have one more story about a land discovery. I want to hear something from yours. There's this one where, and this is brief, went to one and it was like flying elephants. They were elephants, but they had these weird tiny wings on the back, and they were kind of hanging there, like they weren't flying, like they were like nicely flying. It was like they were barely carrying them, and they were kind of floating. It was so creepy. And I've been to planets where there've been these massive animals, and then the super tiny ones that are aggressive. It's great because you scan it, and it gives you a rating, and you kind of got to interpret that rating like, okay, it says docile, cool, I can walk up to it. Right. Oh, and I just in the last hour, because we played this for an hour before talking, I ran into this planet. This is crazy. It was plants, but they were alive. They were running around, and they just looked like plants. They didn't look like animals at all. I think they said they were, I can't even remember the category of it, but it looked like a Malboro from Final Fantasy, and the other one looked like the cactus thing from Final Fantasy.
Right.
I mean, literally, they were not the same, but man, I was kind of tripping out, and I thought they were going to kill. I landed immediately and was like, what the hell are these? And I got out and scanned them, and I couldn't feed them. I didn't want to kill them, because I don't think you get anything from killing.
I haven't killed a single animal.
Oh man, I've definitely killed stuff trying to figure out, like, you get stuff, but it's like iron, carbon. It's not rare resources.
Right.
What are the craziest things you've seen on some of these planets?
Oh, the craziest things I've seen have been mostly resources. I haven't been scanning the animals. I just don't care.
Yeah, I haven't named anything.
I haven't scanned the animals. I haven't scanned the plants. I found out that I could, and then I was like, okay,
you can get a lot of credits for doing it.
Sure, but
a lot.
Usually what I'm doing at the moment is to get many more credits than those will get me. Because I think those are like 500 units or something like that.
Animals will give you like 2K. Locations will give you 2K.
Right. But I don't think animals get... Well, maybe so. But, I guess I've seen a lot of crazy things. I kind of got to get into the deep feeling I have about the game, which I kind of expressed. Do you want me to hold off?
You haven't seen any crazy animals that you can bring up?
I saw the little flying snakes.
Okay.
And I saw, some spiders attacked me on my first planet. And
your first planet?
Yeah, and
That
there's
sucks.
a big kind of like a rhinoceros, but with really long legs.
Whoa, that's cool.
That was just kind of walking around and not absorbing nutrients and not bothering me. I didn't bother it. Uh, I,
I wonder what's under
I've
the water. I wonder if there's some big ass
oh, there are.
fish
I
under the
saw
water.
some manta rays,
Oh,
swimming along what looked like manta rays.
I've seen a bunch of tiny fish. That's about it.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Uh,
all right, well, let's get to it. Let me hear. Let's talk about. We're gonna make this like a segment of it. What do you
sure.
dislike about the game? What is missing? What do you hate? What's
Here's the
up?
thing. I don't think that there's anything missing from the game. I think that this is a specific game for specific people. I played Minecraft. I played Minecraft a lot. I played it with our buddy George, and getting lost and diving for minerals and
Yeah.
building structures and upgrading technology and infusing with magic, all that stuff. That hooked me. I was playing that game a whole lot, pretty close to right when it came out for at least a couple of years, probably more. I mean,
And I jumped in with y'all for like maybe a few month period.
yeah,
Rode
maybe.
y'all's roller coasters and
I think, yeah, you came in for like maybe 2 days.
no, it was like a
She,
week.
it was about 2 or 3 days.
Because I remember sitting at night next to Sean and I'm like, I'm mining, blah blah blah. I just got six
Right.
diamonds.
Right.
Yeah, go
Well,
ahead.
and it was fun. You get on the headset and it's cooperative.
Yeah.
And you can build more than anything,
Yeah.
build. And I loved engaging that creative aspect. This game, I am mining to fill bars. And when I fill the bars, that means that I can get a new weapon. But when I use that weapon, it's so that the sentinel or the spaceship bar goes down faster when I attack it.
Right.
So it is, and there's no creative element to it at all. I mean, literally no creative element whatsoever. You can't build a spaceship.
Oh God, I
Can't
wish you could.
you
That
can't
is a
build
big
a
thing that's missing.
structure.
I really wish you could customize spaceship. Go ahead.
You are invested literally in nothing in that game. There's nothing to invest. You can invest in your spaceship,
Yep, you're
but
right.
there's
So
no
far.
home base. There's no, I mean, every solar system you go to, every planet you go to, you're invested in none of them because you're leaving them behind. You could,
It's so
if you
true. That is
want,
the toughest feeling of this game, man.
you're
It's
leaving everything behind.
and
There's nothing you're committed
mhm.
to.
And I've heard from other people, and what I found out is I stayed in my first solar system for a while. I mean, especially since you got to get hyperdrive.
Right.
And we're not going to go into how the pre, um, damn it, what do you call when you prepay for a game?
Yeah.
Uh, pre-order, thank you, Jesus. When you pre-order a game, there's a bonus, and I used it way, way later into the game because I forgot about it. I just saw it on the receipt. And apparently that kind of skips the tutorial, gives you a hyperdrive and a ship. It kind of breaks the tutorial for you. We're not going to talk about that and go in depth about whatever. That I actually got that later, so I had to do the whole hyperdrive thing, which I enjoyed. I
Right.
really enjoyed that. It was a good part of the game. But yeah, man, there's no. That is, and then they said I have heard that they are going to load. They're going to put that in eventually. Be
A
able to
creative element.
base build, hopefully ship build, but I've heard base build specifically.
But here's the thing:
But
even
you
if you
travel
have
so
a
far,
base,
yeah.
how you're going to spend what 10, warp energy
No, they'll
units
have
to
an
get back?
immediate thing. They'll
Right.
build something in to where you can just go to it. Because guess what, inventory sucks, and
Yeah.
they kind of I bet they've been hearing that, and they're probably gonna think, listen, we need a little trunk. We need a trunk with 100 slots in it, and
Right.
people want to put all their little things they find in it, one-off resources that they can't hold on to because they don't even need them yet. Like
Right.
there's some of these resources that are you'll get one and two of, no point in holding. You can't even use them yet.
But the truth is I think they would be killing an element of the game if they did that.
Yeah, because it's
I
meant to
mean,
be
going
leave,
from
just go.
you know bit to bit and struggling to hold on to this, and everything is valuable. Everything has value because you use it or you give up a slot in your ship or your inventory.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and so you can keep like a few things stowed away in case you need them in the future, but it is really just like, I need to build this thing, and therefore I am now looking for these things.
That's what I realized, and here's what let's expand on that for 2 seconds. Yes, I wish there was a base. I wish there was something more to invest in, but you're right, it would take away from maybe just, I don't know, something, because your ship you can trade out, so it's hard to feel invested in that, except wanting to get more slots.
And they're all ugly.
No, some of them are kind of cool. Some of them are kind of janky, but other ones are pretty neat. So I just bought a ship. Finally, I saved up, bought a $2 million ship, because I was finding ones that I could repair, and I just saw the time investment in that and how much carbonite sheets I needed, or whatever they're called. And I was like, nope, I'm just going to buy one. I have enough credits. This is fine. I'm going to buy one. I bought one that I thought looked cool. 25 slots, upgraded it some. Of course, I'm getting attacked like a mofo because pirates are out there, and I'm always carrying good loot. And I found ways around that. We'll talk about that for a sec. But
now, what do you mean repair ship? Have you been shooting ships down?
What do you mean repair ship?
You said
no. So when you find one of those 9 things you can find on a planet is a crashed or a crashed ship.
I've never seen one.
Are you? I've run across 3 or 4.
Wow.
Now this is how I find them. When you go to a abandoned house or a shelter or something like that, you go into one of those coordinate, I don't even know what to call them, the circular things in a, I don't know, with the computer, the red eye.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dave. So when you talk to it, it tells you like some math thing. You figure it out, and these math things, I wish they were tougher. These puzzles are way too easy.
Anyway, it's not even math. It's just like
pattern
recognition.
I guess
it's pattern. Yeah.
Now the word ones are tougher. Those are because you have to know the words, or if you don't know them, you're guessing completely, and that sucks.
Right.
Anyway, so you answer this. It says a beacon is sent out long ago, and whoop, goes out into space, shows you where it is, goes back in, marks it on your map, go to it, crash ship, ton of work to do on it. Everything's broken. Everything needs material. Everything needs these carbonite sheets, which means even more material behind the scenes. So you're looking at like an hour, if you're not carrying all this on you, an hour and a half of running around that planet or going to other planets, then coming back and repairing piece by piece. It felt like a nightmare. So I decided I'm saving up credits, buying a sweet ship. Now, the problem I had was I couldn't find my new multi-tools. And also, I couldn't get
It took a long time to find a multi-tool, a new one for me.
Yep. It literally forever.
Mm-hmm.
But when you did find it, it felt like you just found the, Indiana Jones, like Tomb of the Lost Crusade. What was it?
I don't remember.
Tomb of the That was terrible. When you find
Tomb of the Lost Crusade.
Obviously, I haven't seen this movies in a while. The man, it just feels like a Zelda moment when you find this item. And ironically, I found 3 in the last hour, which is crazy because I found 1 in the last 15 hours. Right. So I found one that upgraded me from 10 to 12 slots, and it looked way cooler. Then 12 to 14 didn't look as cool. Just recently, 14 to 16.
Ooh.
But it looks small. It's like, I don't understand why it has so many more slots. It's a little handgun. Yeah. And that's the largest I have right now. 16 slot multi-tool. Really sweet. Of course, when you get your new multi-tools, here's a tip. Before you grab it, unless you don't have a chance, I mean, if you're in like a conversation, you have to buy it then. Take everything out of your multi-tool. Get all
dismantle all the upgrades.
Exactly. I didn't do that on my first one, and I missed out on all those resources. Right. So I upgraded, got the new multi-tool, stoked about that. It's filled out right here, 16 slots, got it all full. Plenty of beam intensifiers, combat amplifiers, freaking bolt caster, the grenade thing. There's so much you can add to this. The mining beam, analysis visor, analysis boost, range boost. It's crazy. So there's all these attachments, and you only find these through finding random locations on planets. And so you can spend hours on a planet finding new stuff. I was going to say it's endless.
Yeah.
You can be on a planet for the whole game.
Yep.
and you will find new stuff the whole game, probably.
It's true.
Because they'll say, like, there's a point over here, it's 40 minutes away. You could explore the whole distance from there to there and stop every 15 seconds to do something. That's how huge this game is. And so the feeling I got after the first Galaxy was, okay, wow, this is a feeling of abandonment. You know, you have to abandon these places immediately. Sometimes drop down, get one resource, scan a few things, get out.
Good luck finding them again.
Oh, yeah.
Don't think you're going to go back to old solar systems.
What, you can't? Yeah, you can. I went back to one.
I couldn't find it.
I went back to one on an accident. It was on my path, and I went backwards. And because I came to a planet, it was like, you already... Final Cut Pro just processed a video, so it popped up on your screen. So it's like, you've already discovered this. And I was like, what? Someone just... Oh, it was me. Oh, I traveled to the wrong damn solar system. So I had to use 2 hyperdrives to get further, which sucks. Because let me tell you, building a hyperdrive piece of fuel... it kind of sucks.
Yeah, it's a little tedious. I mean, the resources aren't rare to build them, but it's like you got to build this thing to build this, and then this to build this, and then this to build this.
Right. It's like a 3-step process where they could just make that all into one or something. I mean, I understand why they do it, but it's also difficult because they minimize your inventory, and then every time you want to make something, you got to either delete something or drop some carbon or use it. Or also, here's some tips: never run out of plutonium. The worst feeling in the world was being on a planet, being attacked, and like, I mean, seriously, like, oh my god, I barely made it to my ship, thank God. No fuel, no plutonium for your launch caster. And I'm like, oh my gosh, go in there, I fill it up, it's at like 17%. You need 25 to launch, I think.
Empty launch thrusters are annoying.
I ran around that planet for 10 to 15 minutes trying to find plutonium because it won't take anything else. It takes plutonium. And I didn't at the time. It was early enough in the game where when you play enough, you start recognizing materials, what they look like, what their colors are. And they are pretty consistent, actually. There are some that kind of change it up, and they'll change their shape or form, but plutonium is a red spike out of the ground, straight up. So
you got to scan for it also.
Yeah, it'll show up as a
little red electric
lightning bolt. Exactly. Yeah. So finding that and understanding what you need to carry on you so you don't get trapped on a freaking planet when you're being attacked by crazy monsters. I mean, it was the worst feeling. And I didn't know it wasn't that bad to die. I hadn't died yet. And I was like, I don't want to lose all my stuff. I've got so much stuff on me, my freaking multi-tool and my ship. Like, I do not want to start from the beginning. I thought it was more roguelike. So if you die, what happens?
You just go to your grave and get your stuff.
Yeah. It's a grave run. Now, I haven't actually calculated, do you lose a percentage of your stuff? Do you lose any credits? Do you lose anything?
I haven't noticed that, no. What I did was, so there are cargo ships that'll sometimes warp in randomly into the solar system you are in. And one warped in, a few of them warped in right next to the intergalactic trading hub, whatever you call it, space station.
I've seen that.
And so what I did was I sold everything in my ship, and I went to the cargo ship, and I attacked it.
I haven't done that yet.
Blew up a canister, got a ton of materials.
Whoa.
I mean, a ton of expensive stuff.
Like platinum and titanium and stuff.
Yeah. And then I started to get attacked, so I flew back to the trading station and sold it all, and did that a few times. I died once, wasn't a big deal. I flew out, collected my grave, went back and sold it all off. Easy money. Super easy money. I got bored of it.
What? I haven't done that yet because it looked too intimidating. Man, the space battles, let's just jump to that. Those are rough. I mean, like, I can't win them, basically. They're tough. They're not unfair, but I'm just not very good at leading the target. There's a lot of auto-aim that helps you.
Yeah, a lot.
Like, it pulls the bullet toward the enemy. But I'll get taken out.
Are you using the pulse cannon, or do you have the phaser beam? You got to use the beam.
Really?
Yeah, you have to use the beam.
See, I've been upgrading the phaser cannons or whatever.
So I use that for mining. The beam is what you use to kill people.
For mining? Oh, for the space mining.
Right.
I still use the beam. See, I'm totally backwards. I'm using the beam because it's a mining beam, so I'm mining the asteroids in the sky, which, by the way, you can do. If you find these asteroids in the sky, you can mine them. Occasionally, they'll be like iridium and...
Yeah. You got it flipped.
Really?
Yeah,
Because
I mean, I've
you
been
use
using the beam, and it just like it's got a
Well, what do you use with
heavy
your
auto.
what do you use with your multi-tool? The beam for mining, right?
Yes.
Well, then wouldn't you use the beam for mining in your ship?
Phasers. Did you ever watch Star Trek?
No.
Phasers
I mean,
are
I did
used
as a
for
kid with my
attacking.
dad, but
What does phasers sound like?
Those...
You use those. It
All
works
right.
better, I promise.
Yeah. Okay, I'll try it out. I mean,
The
I
bummer
haven't
is
put a
that
lot into my ship.
it's not very fun.
No.
Is the problem with it, because
Oh,
you
it's
are
not fun at
not
all.
chasing them down and attacking them. You may as well just stand still, and
You're
they
basically being
make a strafe
swarmed
run, and you shoot them.
by wasps and bees is what it
Right.
feels like, and you
Yeah.
just gotta nail them. What I've done is I started. My trick is just to go in reverse, and for some reason their AI they eventually go out and they start coming at you, but they like line up right with you if you go backwards. Now you're really vulnerable. You take a lot of shots,
Right.
but you get this perfect like aim, and you can just kind of zone in and shoot each one of them. I would take down 2 or 3 that way, and I think came out with 1 health bar once. Other times I just freaking die, which
See,
sucks.
that's my problem, is they're having all the fun. When you imagine space ship-to-ship combat, you imagine what they're
Oh
doing,
yeah,
which is
exactly.
flying
That's a really
around
good
and
point.
attacking and chasing each other, and you really can't do that. I mean,
You're like the slow, crappy ship that's just getting shot at from a million directions, and you're just
yeah,
trying to hopefully survive this one. That's
right.
what it feels like.
It really is just, I hope my bar stays as full as possible while I make their bars go down. And I'm saying
I'm
bars
right,
a
right, right.
lot as if that's a criticism. Every game is filling and diminishing bars.
Sure.
It's just how well you hide it in a game mechanic. How do you make that fun? And I feel like they just haven't made it fun.
Yeah, the sky stuff, or the space flying stuff could be better. Now, here is a huge props to the flying. I love the feel of the flying in space. I've got ones. I don't know personally. I'm not taking this from anyone's other perspective. I like the feel of it. I like the feel of the L1, R1. I gotten used to that. It took me a while. There was like a small learning curve where I was like, man, this is kind of confusing. I like the fact you can't land on or crash into the planet, but I wish they would let me get lower, stay slower, and more hovering. Because
Being able to stop would be great.
geez, like a helicopter. Man, the fact that you have to keep moving, I just want to look at what the hell that
You're
question mark
constantly
is.
like,
Yeah,
what's
I'm
down
pushing
there?
both things down. Like, what is it? What's the
Yeah.
search thing? No. Oh, and then I
And
do
now
a
I'm
full
over it.
circle.
I passed it.
Yeah, either blow past it or I do a full circle, and then I end up just circling over it, looking like an idiot, trying to see what it is. Man, that's funny. But so I wish you could get a little bit lower and float. But I love the feeling of just looking up, boom, you're in space. Stop, boom, you're heading toward a planet. Stop, boom, you're in hyperdrive, you're choosing your next galaxy, you're on your way. The galaxy change is a little slow on PS4. It's like a minute. And I understand they're trying to recreate this feeling of slow but hyper. And even though you're in a hyperdrive, you're traveling really far.
Yeah.
I understand that. And they're probably loading something in the background, which is fine. But I love the fact that when you choose your target, you zone in like on a planet, like say here, and you're going toward it, it'll slow you down. Or if you get to a space station or the space anomaly, it'll slow you down when you get close to it. You don't have to stop yourself. Now, it's way more tricky when you're trying to do that on a planet. You're trying to find the abandoned point, or you're trying to find one of the 9. And you overshoot it, or you come down too quick, and then you've got 5 minutes of slow flying. You're like, nope, got to go back out, jump back in, go out, jump in. It's really cool. You find this medium where right in the top of the atmosphere you can go faster.
Yeah, well, you have to go. I mean, it's because it's on a ball. You have to go out as far as possible to come back in. Otherwise, you hit the planet's atmosphere and you can't warp.
You don't like the flying?
I'm not sure I like the game. I mean, we can get into that if you want to get into the nitty gritty.
Well, yeah, let's jump. I want to do one thing first because we've been talking about these 9 things you can find, and that's just a random number I'm bringing up because I can't remember what they are. But off the top of my head, you can find a space station that you land on that's either abandoned or has someone in it. And like you said, there's a shield on the front or a locked door sometimes. Sometimes it's blown open and there's alien-infested weird stuff in there. That is cool. It becomes a little repetitive after a point, but they kind of mix it up. Wish there was a little more variety in that.
Yeah.
It becomes super tedious after a while, landing, getting out, going through the whole procedure, getting in. But like 1 out of every 5 times you find something really cool. You find the drop pod that increases your suit. You find the thing that it's like a radio station that expands your knowledge of and it gives you a point. What are some other ones?
The transmission tower, the abandoned shelter, the drop pod, trading posts, which are cool. With
those
the
are
platform.
really cool. Yeah, I like those.
Yeah, a little colonial outpost with maybe a landing station and an alien side. You can help him out, and if you can figure out what he needs, you can try and help him out. Obelisks where you can learn languages. They'll have knowledge stones, usually about 3, which you can get words from, and then there'll be a little kind of poetic puzzle where an image appears before you, and you have to find out what the image wants from you. And if you can figure it out, then it'll increase your standing with the local race or give you some knowledge. There is lots of technology. I mean, you're always constantly finding upgrades. Some you've found already.
Yep. There's like the one you can land on that has the just platinum like storage units.
Yeah.
You can blow those up and get a ton of platinum,
and
which
get
isn't
attacked
super.
by sentinels.
Oh yeah, for immediately.
Yeah.
Then there's the random trading robots.
Mm-hmm.
Those are cool because you can drop off all your stuff and keep hitting your planet. Sell. I don't like
apparently broken spaceships, which I've never found.
Dude, those are so cool because, and here's the thing, I screwed up on the first 1 or 2. And I'm going to give this tip to anyone who's listening this deep in. There's a little piece next to those broken spaceships that doesn't highlight, that doesn't show up as something to go click. And you go over and you hold square on it. I mean, once you highlight it, it shows up, but it doesn't come up on your scanner. And a little like thing comes out. It's like a little I'm trying to get on camera, a little orb, and you click something and like a little piece comes out. It looks like it's part of the ship, like you don't even need to click it. And that gives you, I don't know, some philosophical thing, and then it lets you, it gives you a more rare, more desirable piece of upgrade for a ship.
See, I gotta look more for those.
Those are cool, and I like finding the blue gear symbol when the little pods come down. It's like part of a satellite that dropped, and you get a little piece of information from that, or piece of tech, which is really cool. Guns, of course, are really hard to find. The only place I found guns inside of...
You mean weapon upgrades?
Yeah, your multi-tool upgrade. Inside of space station things on the ground, like on Earth, very rarely on a planet. Very rarely, though. Mostly in those space anomalies that look like Death Stars in the sky, which are so cool. It took me a long time to run into one, but now I've run into 2 or 3. And that's where you get the data pass. Sorry, spoiler there, but man, that took forever to find.
Yeah, it took a long time.
So I finally got that, and that gives you a bunch of resources from when you start landing and stuff. I haven't found the rest. And then there's still a secret for me personally in that Death Star. There's like 2 doors that don't open. So I don't know what those are.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's more doors that don't open.
You got to get those upgraded Atlas passes.
Exactly. I don't know where to find the other ones. So, yeah, let's talk about the overarching thing.
Sounds like we have 2. Like I said, I think this game is made for different people.
Okay.
I mean, I think some will like it and some won't like it. And I think you and me kind of are a pretty clear division on that. I mean, I have been playing a lot of Overwatch and the one thing I can say about Overwatch, I don't know anything about the lore. I don't, there's no upgrading, there's no RPG systems
But it's fun.
whatsoever. It's just a lot of fun.
It is.
And I come home and I want to play that. And I'll lose and I get angry and I get really invested
We
in
should
it.
play some of that, man. I didn't know you were playing it that often. I'm pretty
Oh,
good at
it's
some of
so
those
much fun.
characters.
I mean, and I'm not. I'm right in the middle of the pack on the competitive. My skill level is
Oh, that's
like
cool.
58.
I haven't
mean,
done that ranking stuff yet.
yeah, it is. It is a fun game, and and honestly, I've been feeling kind of bad, which is ridiculous. But I've been wanting a new game. I've been wanting to get into a new game, something I can have fun with, and this is really the first one that I've kind of fooled around with since playing Overwatch, and after having that much fun, like fun, that feeling of fun, I just don't think it's that fun. And I'm
I agree. I wish there was
not
more
invested.
fun.
Yeah.
I do agree with that, man. Even coming from the perspective of gushy love for this game, like I really wanted to come on here, and I think I have in some way splurge a lot about how much I love the certain aspects of it. What
Right.
it gives me that per se Overwatch doesn't give me, even though there's not as much fun as Overwatch. That game is fun. HOTS, Heroes of the Storm. I'll go back to that and play. I have a lot of fun playing that.
Tiny Towers. Is that what that game is
Tricky
called?
Towers.
Tricky Towers.
That was
I
so
mean,
fun.
it's fun.
It's
You
so fun.
feel the fun.
Okay, so I agree completely. There's not enough fun in No Man's Sky. There's
And
gonna be more
it's
fun.
Yeah, and it's too bad because they got so much right. I mean, it is innovative, it is huge, it is,
God, it's
you know,
so
it's
cool.
it is truly infinite. Maybe not in terms of upgrades and
Right?
the game
Yeah.
mechanic
Yeah.
aspects, but there's lots of things to see and explore, and it'll take you a long time to get to the center of the galaxy, I assume, unless you are like super competent, but they're just missing that one element, which is make it fun. I mean, shooting a laser at a rock to get certain materials and selling it, and I think it triggers a lot of things that I like to do in a lot of other games. Fallout, for
That's true.
example,
Or like
I
Mass
love
Effect.
finding a place, or Mass Effect, finding a place and Fallout and wiping it clean of everything valuable and killing everything inside and going and hawking all that crap on the
That's fun.
in the nearest marketplace. That's wonderful. But they've taken away, or not taken away, they just never put in the thing that makes you go to the next place to clean everything out and do the same thing over again.
Yeah.
I mean,
With
the game is infinite, and you truly feel like you're looking into the void. Like I could see myself filling a lot of bars in this game.
and oh yeah, true.
Yeah.
And now here's something I can add to with that. I do now feel like not even stopping at some of these big space stations on the ground anymore, because I know it takes me 5 minutes to get through it, and they're infinite and they're everywhere, and they've all kind of, after about 20 hours, been giving me some of the same material. Yeah, I'll find something new every once in a while, but I'm like flying over them now. I'm kind of looking for just the suit upgrades, and I'm looking for that next thing, and I kind of realized, okay, I'm going to set personal goals, because they're not setting goals for me besides go to this next hyperdrive. I'm going to set some personal goals. I'm going to set, but and that's like another way of me developing another like part of it. Like, okay, I want to build my jetpack specifically, so I go do that. But when that runs out, yes, I don't know if there's an end game. I don't know if there's anywhere
Yeah.
going with it. I think the purpose of this game is, and maybe it could be looked at certain ways. It's not like an online MMO. It's not like this long game. There's no beginning and end, I don't think. I mean, yes, there's the center. Yes, there's the Atlas thing. I think it's more, maybe this is how I will play it. This is more how I will play it. I want to see where Atlas goes. If it takes forever, then it's going to take too long. But I want to see where that goes. I want to get my hyperdrive upgraded. Maybe go to the center of the galaxy. That sounds cool. Other than that, what I want to enjoy is if I have some random friend over, or if you're over, well, you've seen plenty of it, but say Jonathan or George, they haven't played it, and they come over, I'm like, dude, let's just go look at like 2 or 3 new planets real quick.
Yeah.
And you actually get to show and I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel like you can believe it. And with enough planets that I've seen, maybe it's what's that effect? Like when you take something and it's like I'm taking medicine. There's actually no medicine in it. It's like a sugar pill.
Right.
It's a simple word. I can't remember it, but I feel
Placebo.
like placebo. Like it could not even be. People could be seeing the same thing I am, but I believe that they aren't, because I've seen so many crazy things and combinations that. And I know that each planet I go to, I'm going to see something a little bit off or a little weird. Like George came over, I showed him 3 in a row. All those planets I did not like. They were the weird coloring. They were like crappy at nighttime and looked dangerous. Finally found one with this big ocean and tiny islands, and we jumped off. We jumped in the water, and he's like, "You can go in the water." I was like, "I don't even know if I can go in the water." And we started kind of swimming, and I freaked out and was like, "I'm not going any deeper because I don't like the ocean anyway." So it's like that feeling of kind of discovery and having fun, and you can almost use it as just like flying around but once I agree, man, once you've discovered it all, once you've kind of seen it a few times, it loses its mystery and luster. There's still some for me, and I'm still wanting to right now jump back on and play a little more, but what are the things that, and this could be like a laundry list, but what's it missing? Where did it, what could they add maybe as a service, or what could they add as a company, or where is the next game going to go? Boom, let's take that, and here's the 5 things that they missed that, man, this is going to hit. Like, combine this with Destiny, combine this with, Mass Effect, combine it with, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm really enjoying it, but I feel like there's something more to it. Could be more to it.
Yeah, I think basing a game around, the puzzles, which are the closest thing to a game, in it. I mean, I don't know how to make a game fun. I just don't. But having some rule sets that you have to abide by that are somewhat tricky and you have to overcome, I think would go a long way. So far, there's nothing in the game that challenges you. I mean, either there's too many ships and you're gonna die, or you're gonna kill them. I mean,
the animal's too powerful and he's gonna hit you 2 times and you're gonna die.
Or this material is just, it's too rare, or you're just not in a place that has it. I don't know what it takes to make a game fun, but I know there's no game there. There's no game. We call it a game only because that's the format it comes in and that's how it's marketed as. But there's no game. It really is just a simulator. I mean, it's an exploration.
Is the game the journey and the mystery of getting to the center?
Yeah, sure, but there's no game function to that.
Do you have any curiosity to get to the center?
No, I don't care.
Do you have some curiosity with Atlas, or do you really, you're just gonna, at the end it's gonna be like, it's a thin storyline?
Yeah, I don't really care. I mean, I've been doing it, but only to have something to do.
That's true. Yeah, because there is really, at some point I was like, I seriously put the controller down. I'm like, what am I doing? I've been doing mining for 2 hours. I've been getting credits. I've got a ship. What am I doing? Oh yeah, okay. I need to go to the next thing because I'm trying to go to Atlas, or I'm trying to go to the center. And I had to remind myself, like, what's my objective? Because while I was at that time, if you had caught me 10 hours ago, I would be saying this is the most amazing, this is awesome. This is like freaking incredible. Every 10 seconds I was finding something new. The first 20 hours were awesome. The last 5 or 6, I've had a little bit of change of heart, and with talking with you about it now, and only in that a lot of the mystery and discovery I've now unveiled, and that's natural as a human, as someone this had so much mystery and so much Enigma and build up and hype behind it. What is it? Oh my God, I can't wait to get my hands on it. I went at 11 o'clock to GameStop, got it, came home, had to do wife stuff for like 2 hours, chores and dogs and whatever. And I was like really patient, went on at like 1:30, played till like 6 a.m. I couldn't even turn off. Next day, got my stuff done, played the whole day. As much as I could, when I had to do stuff, I had to. But every free second that I wasn't working on podcasts or whatever, playing that game. Stayed up all night again as soon as Shauna fell asleep, playing the game. Third day in a row, playing the game. And I contacted you like, man, I want to do this talk about it. And honestly, if we had talked 24 hours ago, I wouldn't be able to like control the gushing amount of enjoyability I've had for this. And I still, seeing this screenshot again, I want to go see those. I want to trigger them. I want to have that come out. I want to figure out what this marine is. I want to figure out a few more things. There's the mystery that's pulling me in.
Right.
If it takes me too long, if they're telling me if I'm going to have to calculate it's going to take me 40 hours of doing this stuff to get to the center, that's too long for me to be doing this repetition without change. I agree. I've loved it for 25 hours. I've really loved it. And I put in a lot in the last 3 days because I've really been looking forward to this game.
It's almost like they realized they had to put in a center of the game. I'm not sure that was a beginning premise or not, but with Minecraft, they had to put the dragon at the end of the
Ender
game.
Dragon.
I mean, they had to create some kind of drive and purpose, and I felt driven to do that in Minecraft. George and I, we figured out how to get to the dragon. It was tedious, but we figured it out, and it was some conclusion. I don't care. I just don't care. I know I'm insignificant in the game. I know my entire experience is, while unique like a fingerprint, once you've seen one finger, you've basically seen them all. I mean, it is unique only in the smallest features, but nothing I'm seeing is important or unique really in this universe.
I don't agree. I mean, I agree, but I've seen the math. Okay, all I have to say is the math behind this is incredible. The way they've generated stuff on planets is unbelievable. Yes, there is starting to be repetition even after this long in. While it felt like at first it wasn't, now there is some repetition happening. But I agree. There's not. Go ahead. But
I just don't. It hasn't told me why I care. I mean, when you watch a movie, you can't just watch a movie where people are doing things. You have to be invested. You have to have a reason to care about what's happening in the story or why they're doing the little things, and the importance of solving that mystery relatively soon in a satisfying way, usually in a movie in a couple hours or in a TV show in 10 episodes before you're on to the next mystery. They have basically said, okay, do all these little tasks, and 40 hours from now or more, you will have the answer to the mystery. I got a warp drive upgrade. I can now jump not just from one to the next, but down 4 or 5.
Whoa. Okay.
And
it's not getting you much further.
Maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but I don't care. I mean, I could go down to the planet and make more warp fuel. I just don't want to.
Right. So here's the thing. You're right. I mean, the end of Atlas. It's probably not going to be as great of a, what you're looking for. And same with the center of the universe. But so where I think that this game has succeeded and had a really great, I mean, it's beautiful. I love the random generation of it. I love the math. I love the theory. I love the philosophy they put in it. I love the feeling of it, the exploration. The music is incredible, unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
All those things are great. And here's what their greatest feat of all is, if and it's kind of their greatest and saddest because they would hate to hear this, is that they've created something remarkable and unbelievable that others can now use and look at to create something and improve upon.
Yeah.
That's really what they've created, which is one of the most important things you can create in humanity. Like someone created the wheel, right? They didn't create a Firestone or a bridge or whatever their stone, freaking amazing race wheel or a mud wheel. They created the wheel.
Right.
And like I feel like they've created a wheel here, a certain type of wheel. Now, did they have inspiration from these? I've written down some stuff here, like from these old computer games, and of course, and is everyone inspired? Yes, by certain things, and I think that is this my most current printout? Uh, I guess it didn't print it out or something, but I had some movies, of course, like Elysium, The Martian. It makes me feel like Interstellar. All these movies, it really makes me feel like I'm actually getting to play a piece of that for a little bit. It fades, but it was strong for the first 20 hours. I was really feeling it. I was like texting you, man, I'm really role playing this. Like I feel like I'm on this mission, and I wish there was like save this guy or like some other stuff came up that wasn't trivial but kind of cool. And maybe he joins your mission. Now you got a companion or something. I don't know. I'm throwing stuff out there, but and of course there, like I said, there was, or like I wanted to say, there's games in the past and computer games that have created universes. They were pixels, or they've created stuff has done this before, but not quite like this. They achieved something, in my opinion, of a monumental thing where it gets to the public. Everyone's talking about it. He was on Stephen Colbert. He's on some of these big shows, which a game like this, where it started and what their amazing background, and if you watch Do You Know Gaming, that this amazing segment about how they kind of started up and their information and coming from Joe Danger to this it's really cool. But aside from all that, the piece itself, standing alone without any information, I feel like other companies can look at this and go, yes.
Yeah, it is a technological feat. It is big, it's remarkable, it's beautiful, it's unique, it is all of those things, but it is also empty in terms of feeling, in terms of, it's soulless, and I truly believe that. And it is boring.
Is it soulless because the expanse and the math they had to put in was very mechanical and machine-like? But why is it soulless?
It's soulless because nothing has a soul. I mean, the music is beautiful.
The music has a soul.
Truly beautiful.
The feeling of the planets have a soul to them, but you're right. There's no like the NPCs, besides their beautifully handcrafted paragraphs.
Yeah,
that's it. That's all you get from them.
That's right. You don't really feel like you're interacting with something. It really feels like, okay, here's another robot.
Yeah, it feels like you're reading a page of a book, and it's choose the right thing, and you get something. And yeah, the character animations and the character don't have a lot of soul.
But true, I mean the game is soulless. I mean it is a huge technological feat that there's no creative the creativity. Maybe the aliens were designed or individual pieces all recombined or designed, but it just feels like there's just no.
I agree. Let's compare it to a game that is full of soul, like or like personality, like oh my god, what's it freaking called? Oh no, it's such a good example. Now I can't remember it.
You can have
it's that one that came out where it was a Kickstarter, and you play the first half, and you play the second half as the other character, and it's like split, and it was oh my god. Oh, it's full of soul because it's Jim Schafer. It was whatever Tim Schafer's new thing.
Right, I don't know.
Come on, look it up.
You look it up.
No, you look it up. All right.
I look at games like Journey and Rez and there's a lot of games that don't give you meaning explicitly. There's nothing explaining anything to you. They are kind of inherently empty, but they are engaging. The visuals and all of that stuff is given meaning, by fun, by entertainment value, you get carried in Journey. Nothing is speaking to you. You are just kind of finding your way and advancing, and it feels good. It's soulful. It has a soul. But this, it's
I feel like
so hard to put into words. I'm sorry.
I agree. I feel like now maybe I can put it. I feel like there's droplets of soul put around on these planets. Everything else is math, and they've developed a beautiful math, beautiful math. But the animals feel mathy, the robots feel mathy, the designs of the planets actually feel pretty organic and cool. A little bit mathy, you can see it like, okay, this one's specifically going to have floating this, or this one's specifically going to have, but it's unique and it's cool. I wish that, yeah, there was more. Now I'm thinking through games, you're right, with so much soul and so much personality, and they don't even rely on.
Minecraft alone, no one talks.
Yeah.
You have no
and
purpose.
the graphics suck. You know, I mean, everybody.
The graphics are awful.
Yeah. But
and
it's amazing.
And it's Notch sold it for $3 billion or something like that.
7.2 or something.
Yeah, this crappy little game, full of soul, full of like, I want to do things. No Man's Sky would be soulful, and I hate using that word. It's so vague and stupid, and I'm sorry I brought it in, but if you could be creative in some capacity, in any capacity, I mean, it would go so far. But it really is just like going into it's math. It's just, okay, this ship looks different from this ship because math. And, this animal looks different from this animal because math.
That's true.
Like, it doesn't mean anything.
I found my notes. I was carrying my other notes that I printed out from yesterday, and it was missing half of my notes.
Oh, God. Does that mean we have to go another hour?
Yes. No. I wrote down here what it reminded me of movies. Space Odyssey 2001, Star Trek, Star Wars, Interstellar, The Martian, Alien, Gravity, Elysium, Dune. There's others, but those are the ones I saw that I feel like it kind of replicates little feelings of each. And the games, I just chose these off the top of my head. Kerbal Space Program, very much like that. I wish they George wishes probably there is all those mechanics in here. Mass Effect, very much like that. And those are the only two I really wrote down. Give me those.
But those are all fun games.
I know they're fun. And this one's, I'm finding the fun of it, but now that we've talked about it and I've kind of gotten it out of my system.
Here's the thing: you are a bar filler. You and I have this too.
Yeah, but I'm already getting this feeling of like, man, I've done a lot of mining. It takes me 10 minutes to mine all this emerald and then go sell it, and then it's going to take me. What I start doing is I start calculating time in my head. And when I'm doing that, I know I'm not having fun because I'm calculating how long is this going to be until I get this upgrade so I can work on the next upgrade. It's
so surprising, like all those little like markers you reach, unless you look at the trophy system, there's nothing telling you any extra information about like how many steps have you walked, how many planets.
There is.
I mean, you can look at where.
If you when you go into the trade galactic system, the weird load thing at the very beginning, before you press like sell or buy, freaking shows you it. Yeah, in the trade at the trade robot. Go to it. I didn't ever read it because I didn't read it for a while because I was like, oh, it's gonna say like beep boop, I'm selling this. Well, it's just gonna say junk. No, it said how many steps you've taken, how many blah 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 you've done, how many blah blah blah, and I was like, whoa! And I took a screenshot of it, or actually I wrote it down. Stats: 50K on foot exploration, 14 colonists encountered, 48 worlds collected, 2 million units accrued at most, 5 ships destroyed, 45 sentinels destroyed, 0.7 souls extreme survival. I have no idea what that means. 7 space explorations. This was as of yesterday. A lot of these numbers have gone up because I've played about 6 or 7 hours more. But and so I didn't ever read that page, and I came across it and was like, oh, there's stats. There they are.
It needs more, and they need to be accessible from the start screen.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
I think we've said it.
Waypoints.
Yeah, like if I could travel back. Yeah. Oh, I think you can set a waypoint, but it's only to an interstellar waypoint, not a local waypoint.
Which is useless.
It's useless. If you could, the one time I went to a freaking thing, a drop point, was going to upgrade my suit with one inventory, which I was really wanting. Didn't have enough credits. Could never find it again because I couldn't mark it. I had to fly off to sell stuff to come back. Could never find it. So yeah, they need that. Man, I think we've said a pretty good number
And you
on
know
this
what I'm
one.
going to do? I'm going to shut this down and I'm going to go play
Play some Overwatch.
Overwatch. And
I
later
think that's the
tonight,
saddest ending to this conversation.
And
Hey, you want to
later-
go play Overwatch after talking about No Man's Sky for 50 minutes?
And later tonight, I'm going to get on my PS Vita and play some Tactics Ogre. And I'm going to, a game I've completed and should be boring as heck by now. But I have a great time playing because it's fun.
Yeah.
It's fun.
Last thing. Oh no, I had a last thing about it. Oh no.
What's your last thing? I'm always making you forget.
That sucks because it was a really good zinger at the end. It wasn't a joker. It was just a really good point to make. I think that I'm definitely going to be playing it late night. But yeah, I think that I'm Overwatch sounds kind of cool right now. It kind of, after playing 30 hours of this freaking game, a little break.
Yeah, and you can play a 5-minute game of Overwatch.
Yeah.
And have a ton of fun.
Oh,
and
I remember.
Walk away if you want.
I remembered. What if when PSVR comes out, this is accessible to that? Would you want to try that out? You probably 10 minutes.
Boy, I hope they fix that field of view. That would really change it.
Oh yeah.
You're looking at everything through like this, like you have blinders on, like a horse.
Why is that? I'm looking at it right now. I don't.
In a game about exploration.
No, you're not. I mean, this looks pretty wide frame.
That thing should be almost 180 degrees. I mean,
see
you
what
should
you're
be
saying.
able to see so much,
I see
and
what
you've
you're
just
saying.
got this tiny little cube of view.
Yeah, I'm rocking your controller. Thanks, Jamie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like 140, 130. That'd be cool if it was more widescreen, but I see the zoom in thing's cool too when you can zoom in really far with your scanner. Analyzing could be a little quicker. I don't know.
Yeah, but it looks like you're looking through a toilet paper roll.
I still think it's one of the prettiest PS4 games. Yeah, it does look like you're looking through like a periscope or something. But and I wish you could do third person. Like zoom out even further out.
Because then you can see things around you.
Right. Oh, apparently I've been standing outside this whole time and I'm about to die. And I don't even know where my ship is. Great. No, okay, here we go.
Okay, I'm not going to sit here and watch you play this boring game.
All right, let's call it. That's all. Do you have any? I guess we've said everything, man. There's nothing on my notes left to say. I love you, No Man's Sky. I love a lot of things about you, and I will continue to come back to your game. If you come out with stuff, I will definitely come back to your game. I think I'll put in another. I think it's going to pull me in for another 5 to 15 to really, really be honest. I think I'm going to explore a little more, and then I'm probably going to drop it.
I love my grandma, but she's boring as hell too.
That's a good analogy, Jamie. No Man's Sky is a grandma.
Truly incredible.
All right, No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky 2. This is a heart. No Man's Sky 2 coming out soon.
Yeah.
Right.
Hopefully.
Thanks, guys. Thanks, Jamie, for joining us. This is the first episode of CNMPodcast Solo with the Machine and guest, and we might do some of these in the future, but I don't even know how long this was. I'm thinking it's like an hour, so
let's talk about something more interesting next time.
We'll talk about Overwatch next time. All right, peace.
Later. Listening to me while you're editing this, I just want you to know you're beautiful. You're such a good guy. Sitting there, working away on your computer, doing our podcast, doing your podcast. Well done.
All right. I had to put her in her cage for a little bit.